Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the Fort Salem Library, where we read you your fanfiction. So sit down or don't, relax or don't, and enjoy these stories in a way you have not before. We at Fort Salem Library do not own Motherland Fort Salem or any of the related characters. The Motherland Fort Salem series is created by Elliot Lawrence and owned by Freeform. This story is a work of fanfiction and is meant for entertainment only. We are not making any profit from these stories. All rights of the original Motherland Fort Salem story belong to Freeform. We also do not own Until Morning or any of its original characters and storylines. We did, however, get permission from the author to read their story. This story was created and written by JordanUnbroken, and you can find the link on our show notes. This story is being read to you by me, Britt. Until Morning, Chapter 8. My trainer keeps telling me not to skip arm day, Tally groaned as she hefted Raelle back into her wheelchair. Well, now you'll get your fair share lifting my ass, Raelle said, washing her hands. Having her best friend get her on and off the toilet was both better and worse than the nurses. At least she could be in her own bed. After Scylla had ran out of their conversation, her doctors told her she could go home after they put her legs into new casts. She was happy to have a change of scenery, but never seeing Scylla again shot a pain through her chest. You hungry? We could order in some dinner. I haven't really stocked the fridge since I've been back, Tally said, looking through the empty shelves. Her acting job had taken her out of town for a few weeks. Between that and Raelle's absence, the food they kept in their shared apartment needed to be replaced. Sounds good. Chinese? I could go for some egg rolls and chop suey. You got it. Tally pulled out a takeout menu from the drawer and dialed the number. Raelle rolled herself around the sofa and switched on the TV as she parked her wheelchair. She was getting a bad case of cabin fever, but at least she could catch up on all the good shows. Tally plopped onto the couch. Want me to move you into a comfier seat? Tally patted the cushion next to her. Nah, I like being mobile, Raelle said, rolling back and forth in demonstration, then tilting her wheelchair back, popping a wheelie. This is the most fun I've had in weeks, Raelle laughed. Whoa, be careful. I don't want to take you back to the hospital. Tally smiled and shook her head. You seem to have a new lease on life after everything. There was suddenly a knock at the door. Well, that was quick. Make sure to give them a huge tip, Raelle said. Tally took cash from her purse and went to answer the door. You are definitely not carrying my Kung Pao chicken, Tally said through the door. Ray? It's for you. Tally opened the door wider and walked back into the apartment. Scylla stood in the doorway, wringing her hands. Hi, can we talk? Scylla called from the hallway. Raelle rolled over to the open door. Yeah, come on in. Raelle gestured for her to enter and closed the door behind her. Tally spoke up. Here's the cash for the food. I'm gonna go for a walk, she said, slipping her shoes on and grabbing her jacket. Tally, you don't have to. Raelle started, but Tally was out the door before she could finish. Raelle turned to Scylla, who stood awkwardly in the middle of the room. Why are you here? Raelle asked, her voice gentle and curious. You were gone before I had a chance to... Here. Scylla pulled the photograph from her pocket and handed it to Raelle. I took it by mistake. I wanted to talk to you this morning, but you'd already been discharged. I got your address off of your insurance forms, which is kind of illegal, so I hope you can forgive me. Scylla took a seat at the dining table next to them. Nothing to forgive. Thank you for returning it. Raelle played with the edges of the photo and set it face down on the table. About our conversation. I'm sorry I bombarded you with all of that information. It was really more about clearing my conscience than about how it would affect you, and I should have handled it better. No, Raelle, I'm sorry. What I said, it wasn't fair. Your parents, Raelle began. My parents are gone because of an accident. It was an awful storm. You said it yourself. I don't blame you or your mother. It was a series of bad choices that led you to be behind the wheel, but in the end, it was just physics. I'm not sure what to say, Raelle said. There was another knock on the door. Raelle rolled herself over to it and exchanged Tally's money for the heavy bag of food. I'm sorry to have interrupted your dinner, Scylla spoke. I should go. Scylla stood up from her chair. No, please, don't leave. Raelle took her by the hand. The two women stopped and looked at their joined hands. Want to split some chop suey? Raelle asked. Please find the fanfiction you just listened to on Archive of Our Own, and leave the author some love. Without them, this wouldn't be possible, and we want to thank them from the bottoms of our hearts for creating these amazing stories and keeping the show alive.